Hey guys, hope that you're all doing well. It's almost the end of the year, and so what I want to do this week is go over your final. What I want to do for the final is just keep it very straightforward, especially with the situation that we're all under. I wanted to just give you a final based on surface area, focused on just volume of all the different 3D shapes that we've worked with. So I'm going to do a review for 3 days. These 3 videos I'm going to do, today is going to be based on a prism and a cylinder. Tomorrow is going to be based on a cone and a sphere. And then the last one is going to be based just on a pyramid. So I want to go over all that, and what your final exam is going to end up being is going to be 12 questions, multiple choice, dealing with just calculating the surface area and the volumes of all those figures, as well as knowing what surface area and volume is. Most of you will do well with it because you've been doing really well. If you still need to get a little bit more practice on it, that's what these videos are for. So today we're just going to do a little bit of practice just to make sure that we can figure out what everything is. So the first figure that we're going to have on the final is going to be dealing with the prism, right? And so what a prism is, think of a box, right? Most of the time we're dealing with a rectangular prism, and what a prism is the faces. Everything that's going around the sides is always a rectangle, right? So let's say you have this. This would be a prism, because again, everything going around the sides is all rectangles, right? And then the dotted lines show you what the back side is, the parts that you can't see. So you have a box, way to think of it. You have a prism. If you want to find surface area and volume, those are going to be 2 questions on the final exam. We're going to be using both formulas for. And again, all the formulas will be on Pearson Realize for you guys to be able to use just to calculate all this, and they're all labeled properly. So whenever you're dealing with a prism, you have, let's say that this is 4 centimeters, right? Let's say that that's 3 centimeters, and let's say that that is 6 centimeters, right? So we have those 3 measurements, and the first thing we're going to end up wanting to find is surface area, right? So calculate surface area. The formula is going to end up being here. Let me actually write it smaller, just so I can fit everything there, so I don't have to be writing anything sideways for you guys to possibly get confused with anything. Just give myself a little bit extra space just to be able to fit in the formula, right? So to figure out surface area of a prism, we know that the formula for surface area of a prism is always 2 length times width plus 2 length times height plus 2 width times height. And that's the formula. Length, width, and height, right? 3 variables. When you're looking at this prism, we know that this is always the length, right? We know that that's the width, and we know that that's the height, right? Length, width, and height. So now if you want to calculate the surface area of this prism, we're just going to substitute, right? So we're going to take the formula, which is 2. We know that the length in this case is 4, right? We know that the width in this case is 3, plus we have 2. We know that the length, again, in this case is 4. We know that the height in this case is 6. And now let me write the last part down here. Plus 2. We know that the width in this case is 3. And we know that the height in this case is 6. So all I did, I just substituted everything that we had, right? So you have 3 parts. First part, second part, third part. First part was 2 times the length was 4 and the width was 3. Plus, second part, 2, length was 4, height was 6. So 4 and 6, plus, last part, 2. We know that the width is 3, and we know that the height is 6. So that's where we got our 3 parts from. And again, you're going to have first part, second part, third part. And once you have all of this next to each other, whenever you have numbers next to each other without any addition, subtraction, division signs, it's all multiplying, right? So we have 2 times 4, right? So we know that 2 times 4 is 8, and I'll just write the 8 here, right? Don't forget the 3. The next one is going to end up being 2 times 4 again is 8. Don't forget the 6. And then the last one is going to end up being 2 times 3 is 6. And then don't forget the 6 there either, right? So just so you guys see, and maybe I can even just separate this so you guys don't get confused with the numbers that are all here. All right. So the first part, we had 2 times 4 was 8, brought down to 3, right? Plus, second part was 2 times 4 was 8 again, brought down to 6. And then the last part, plus sign, 2 times 3 was 6, and then we brought down that 6. So now once you get to this, it's just a lot easier to see. And once you're here, just again, finish it off. You're gonna multiply. 8 times 3 is 24, right? Plus 8 times 6 is 48, right? Plus 6 times 6 is 36. So again, 8 times 3 was 24, plus 8 times 6 was 48, plus 6 times 6 was 36. And if you wanted to even do this all from the beginning, you could have, because 2 times 4 was 8, 8 times 3 was 24, 2 times 4 was 8, 8 times 6 is 48, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 6 is 36. If you want to do that, you could. It's up to you. And now once we get to this last stage, it's just adding up those 3 numbers, right? And so if you were to do 24 plus 48, it gives us 72, right? So I did 24 plus 48 gave us 72 plus 36, right? And 72 plus 36 equals 108, right? And all I did again, I just added the 24 plus 48, which gave us 72. 72 plus 36, 108. And then it's centimeters. And since it's surface area, it's going to end up being squared. 108 centimeters squared. And don't forget, whenever you're dealing with surface area, it's always squared, because surface area is always what's on the outside of a figure. And just know, what we're going to do next, volume. Volume is always what's on the inside of a figure. So you're going to have a question dealing with surface area of a prism, which you're going to have to calculate. It's all here. Then you're going to have a question, the easiest one probably out of everything on the entire test, which is going to be to calculate the volume of a prism, rectangular prism. And whenever you're calculating the volume of a rectangular prism, right? Whenever you're calculating the volume of a rectangular prism, it's always volume equals length times width times height, right? And all it is now, we're just going to substitute them. So we know that equals, we know that the length is 4, right? Times, we know that the width is 3, times, and we know that the height is 6. So all I did, length was 4, width was 3, and the height was 6. And since they're all next to each other, again, length times width times height. All it is, it's just multiplying, right? 4 times 3 is 12, right? Don't forget the times 6. And 12 times 6 is 72. 72 centimeters. And since we're dealing with volume, it's going to end up being cubed. Volume is always cubed. And you're going to have one of those questions again. So looking at this rectangular prism, we know that it holds 72 centimeters cubed inside of it. That's how much you'll be able to hold. So when you're finding the surface area of the surface area of the prism, and you're finding the volume of the prism, just always remember, label your length, label your width, and label your height. So that's going to be 2 questions on the final exam. Then you're going to have 2 questions asked you to calculate surface area and volume of a cylinder, right? So then you're going to have 2 dealing with a cylinder. So we got a cylinder, right? And which most of you know a cylinder, you know that it looks like a can, right? Where you have a circle on the top, goes down, right? And sorry, the picture is not perfect. And then you have the circular base as well, right? So there's our cylinder. And since you're dealing with circles, the only thing that we can ever deal with for a circle is the radius, right? And then we have a height. So to find surface area and volume, either one, same measurements that we're always going to need for both, right? We're going to need a radius and we're going to need a height. So let's say that the radius here, let's say that the radius is, I don't know, let's say 4 inches, right? And let's say that the height of this is, let's do 8 inches, right? So we know that the radius is 4, we know that the height is 8. And let's just label that out, right? We know that the radius is 4, and we know that the height is 8, right? So that's our radius, that's our height. To find surface area, again, the formula for surface area is going to end up being 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, right? So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And just to find the surface area, how much on the outside of that cylinder, again, we're just going to substitute everything that we know. And we have 2 parts again. So the first thing, we have 2, bring it down. We have pi, right? We know that the radius in this case is 4. Don't forget the squared. Plus, again, bring down the 2, bring down the pi. We know that the radius in this case again is 4. And we know that the height in this case is 8. And all we did so far was just substitute, right? We had 2 pi. We know that the radius here is 4 squared plus 2 pi. We know that the radius again is 4. And we know that the height is 8. So all we did was just substitute the radius and the height. And now once you get to this again, before you start multiplying all of this, deal with the exponent. So we know that 4 squared means 4 times 4, right? Means that there are 2 4s. So 4 squared, be careful, don't say 8, because people are going to do 4 times 2. But 4 squared, 4 times 4. So we know that 4 times 4 is going to be 16, right? And all I did was 4 times 4 gave us 16. Everything else stayed the same. Bring down the plus sign. Bring down the 2, bring down the pi, and now we know that 4 times 8 gives us 32. So again, all I did, first part here, I did 4 times 4 was 16, and all I did here was 4 times 8 gave us 32, just to make it all cohesive. Once you get to this now, again, this is all together, that's all together, right? And when all these terms are all together with nothing in between, there's no plus sign, there's no minus sign here, just here. Whenever it's all together, just multiply the numbers out, right? We have a 2 and we have a 16. So we know that 2 times 16, since it's all together, 2 times 16 is going to give us 32. Don't forget the pi, right? Plus, same thing here. We know that 2 times 32 is going to end up giving us 64. Again, don't forget the pi. So all I did, I just multiplied 2 times 16, since it's all together. 2 times 16 was 32, brought down the pi, brought down the plus. 2 times 32 was 64, and I brought down the pi, right? And now once you see pi, just to make your life a lot easier, just substitute 3.14, just to make it a lot easier for yourselves. So we have 32 times 3.14, right? Plus 64 times 3.14. And again, all I did, I just substituted, wherever I saw pi, I just substituted 3.14. So 32, 3.14 plus 64, 3.14. And once you get it to this stage, all you want to do now is just multiply those. So one sec, let me just grab my calculator. So we have 32. We have 32 times 3.14 gives us 100.48, right? And then we have plus. Now we're going to do 64 times 3.14 gives us 200.96, right? And again, all I did here was I did 32 times 3.14 was gave us 100.48. I brought down the plus sign. 64 times 3.14 gave us 200.96. And now the last step we're going to do, is just add those two numbers up, right? We have 200.96 plus 100.48 gives us 301.44. And again, since we're talking about surface area, it's going to end up being inches squared. Every time you're dealing with surface area, it's always squared. So for this cylinder, we know that the outside of that cylinder, the outside of that can, think of it, would have that much material, 301.44 inches squared. Last question we're going to do today, and it's going to be one as well on your final. It's going to end up being a question on volume now of a cylinder, right? So far today we've gone over three. One on surface area of a prism, one on volume of a prism, one on surface area of a cylinder, and now the last one for today is going to end up being the volume of the cylinder, right? And to find the volume of a cylinder, the formula that we use, again, it's all on Pearson, guys, and feel free to use that during the final. It's going to be volume equals pi r squared times h, okay? And now what we do, and again, you have your radius and you have your height. So before anything else, start substituting, right? We have pi. We know that the radius in this case, again, is 4, right? So we got 4 squared. And we know that the height in this case is 8. So 8. So all we did again, pi, we know that the radius was 4 squared, and we know that the height was 8. So before you start multiplying again, take care of that exponent. So bring down the pi. We again know 4 squared, 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Because again, it's not 4 times 2, it's 4 times 4. There are 2 4s. 4 times 4 was 16. Bring down the 8, right? And now you have pi, 16, and 8. So before you deal with the pi, you want to multiply this all out. So we know that 16 times 8 is going to end up giving us 128 pi, right? So where I got the 128 from, I did 16 times 8, right? 16 times 8 gives us 128. Brought down the pi, and now since we don't want to work with the pi, substitute it. We have 128 times 3.14, right? And all I did was, instead of dealing with pi, just substituted 3.14. 128 stayed the same. And now if I were to multiply 128 times 3.14, 128 times 3.14, we know that it gives us 401.92, right? Inches. And since again, it's volume, it's going to end up being cubed. So if you're talking about the volume of this cylinder, how much soup, let's say, this can hold, because it's on the inside. If you're talking about how much volume this cylinder can hold, it would hold 401.92. And we're talking about soup again, because it goes on the inside. Volume is always how much is on the inside. Surface area is always how much is on the outside. Today we did a cone, Today we did a prism and we did a cylinder. Tomorrow we're going to do a cone and we're going to work with the sphere. And then the last day again, we'll do a pyramid. Hope this is all helping, guys. Again, today we went over 6 questions for your final. What volume is, what surface area is, surface area and volume of a cylinder, surface area and volume of a prism. And then tomorrow we'll go over a bunch more. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me, guys. I really do hope your families are all doing well. Summer break is almost here, just a little bit longer, but stay healthy, all of you. Take care, guys. Bye.